Hi, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's Mary, and I'm here with a special word on the street. And you know, when I'm here with a guest for my word on the street, I have the tea. So I want to introduce you to Stephanie, and she has the tea on Chelsea. Now, Stephanie, thank you for joining me tonight. And I want you to introduce yourself to the viewers. How do you know Chelsea?
Well, actually, I am Chelsea is actually I'm affiliated with the deaf community. So we kind of all known Chelsea, but I was really affiliated with her when she started dating my brother. My brother is Rocky Howell, who was the ex-boyfriend that passed away and overdosed.
Now, how long ago did Chelsea started dating your brother?
Um he got out of prison 2015. It could have been 2016, the very beginning. He got out of prison, having some priors and stuff from his drug addiction. And he did a year in prison and he was sober and whatnot. And they started talking and they started dating from then. He didn't have anybody, and she was looking, they were really good friends, but this is when it started really dating from then.
Okay. And did Rocky know sign language? Was Rocky able to
Yes,
communicate with her? Okay.
yes. Our parents are deaf.
Oh,
So
okay.
we grew up with sign language.
Okay. So Rocky and Chelsea started dating early 2016 when he came out of prison.
Correct.
And Rocky suffered from addiction issues.
Yes. Yes, he did.
So um did they start living together immediately?
Not immediately. He actually lived with me and my sister. She lived in where we lived in Cleveland. She lived in Richland. I want to say it was about an hour and a half drive, maybe 2 hours or something. So he didn't have a vehicle at the time. So they did a lot of video chatting on video relay, you would say.
Okay, right. Okay. And then did he eventually move in with her? How serious
Yes.
did they Okay.
Yes, it
So
wasn't too much. It wasn't too long before he moved in with her. I can't recall exactly how long, but I do know it could have. I mean, it was within at least 6 months. That he might have moved in with her, if I'm not mistaken.
right. And how was their relationship, Stephanie, in your opinion?
Well, it was good. He really liked her. He had a past relationship with his baby mom that didn't work out, and because of his choices with drugs, he wasn't in her life. But when he got out of prison, he was reintroduced with his daughter, and was able to see her again. And then he met Chelsea. But he, what was the question you asked again? I'm sorry.
How was their relationship, Chelsea
Oh,
and Rocky's
oh,
relationship?
okay. Good. I mean, he really, really liked her. He talked about her all the time. I really like this girl. She lives, such and such far away. She's been through a lot of trauma. But the only thing about it is the deaf community already knew Chelsea. I've heard stories. People, the family knew, and everybody tried to warn her. He wanted to look past that. He said it himself. He said, I don't care what they said about her. You know, he saw someone for who they were and not for what everyone else said. But we already knew she had a background. We already knew there was a lot of bad, there were stories about her. He didn't care about that. He pursued, and they had a good relationship. I want to say it wasn't until my dad passed away in 2017, May of 2017. And that's when I mean, Rocky went through his addiction, but that's when things kind of crumbled a little. Prior to that, maybe a few months prior, he had lost his best friend to addiction.
Okay,
Um, the best friend was actually the one who drove him to go see Chelsea.
right.
He had the car, he hung out with him all the time. So he was able to, drive him back and forth. But Rocky was looking to start a new life without drugs and get away from everyone, get away from Cleveland. So this was his, he really liked her, and she wasn't in Cleveland, and she wasn't about being around deaf people all the time. So he liked that because our family was very affiliated with deaf people. And if you're affiliated with deaf people, everybody knows everything about you. And Rocky liked to live his life private, so he moved out with her. It was good. It was, like I said, he liked keeping things private. But for the first few years, things were great.
So how did he wind up overdosing in her house, Stephanie? Like, how did things spiral out of control to that point?
Well, I want to first say they were kind of like partners in crime.
Right. Okay.
Um, the year that he overdosed January 2020. Something happened of April 2019. He was working for a relative of ours, doing construction, rehabbing, or whatnot. He was dating Chelsea at the time. He got paid for the job. Well, he wasn't really supposed to get paid. Our uncle was. And I mean, I remember Rocky telling me this like it was yesterday, a few months before he overdosed, because he lived with me in South Carolina for a few months. And he said, I had this money in my hand. I called her and I said, I don't know, what should I do? And I mean, he was an addict. So I mean, what's the first thing you think you want? You're gonna take the money, But he asked Chelsea, and and I'm not. It was both of them, but she says, take the money, forget it. So he took the money, went out, bought her a new washer, a new dryer, a new vacuum, spent all the money on her. Later on, got in trouble for it because our uncle pressed charges on him for it, and things spiraled around that time where it was. But because it's been almost 4 years now since he's passed. I've looked at messages, and Rocky's telling me, I've got to get out of here, I'm gonna die. I can't quote right now because I'm not looking, but
Right.
he had stated that he was in jail, I don't know, an X amount of time since he was with her, times our family didn't even know about. She called the cops on him constantly. He was stuck in the middle of Richland, I think it is, she lives. I'm Stephanie. I'm in the middle of a field. I have nowhere to go. Chelsea's left me. She abandoned me. She dropped me off in the middle of nowhere. I have no food, no car. I'm walking on the side of the road. Okay. So, some of these episodes I have seen have really touched a few things because it's very familiar. One of the messages I remember Rocky saying, this was all 2019, Stephanie, if I don't come home, if I don't leave, I'm going to die. If I stay here in Cleveland, I'm going to die. And we knew about the jail time. I mean, we even found mugshots from there that we didn't know about, all from her putting him in jail.
Right.
I can recall one incident because even me and my sister just talked about it a few months ago. Rocky was sleeping on the couch. Chelsea expected him to take care of her kids all the time. She punched him in the face, in his eye, and told him to get up and cook, make something to eat for everybody. And Rocky's a sweetheart. He had a drug problem. We had a bad childhood. It is what it is.
Right.
And Rocky was vulnerable. I mean, these things happen. And especially after my father passed away, that's where I was getting back to is he was very angry. Like I said, the partners in crime. He was very angry. He didn't want me to let me in the apartment after my dad died. Mind you, I was beneficiary of everything, and in respect to my brother, they wouldn't let him in because he didn't have his driver's license or an ID. He never had a license. The kid never even got a driver's license. He never graduated high school. He never had a fair chance. So he was looking for love. He just wanted to be loved. And, he called those kids his own because he took care of them as his own. But we got into the apartment. He instantly goes in the room, and him and Chelsea just take everything of my dad's, everything, anything valuable. I even let him have the whatever it was, 60-inch flat screen TV, stuff
Right.
like that. Him and Chelsea went through everything, and shortly after he proposed to her, got her a ring. Just it was, and just from then on, everything just fell apart. And that's then was 2017, and then now we're talking about 2019. He's got warrants. He's got court dates. He stole Chelsea's car. He there was a few there are things that he has done, but I can very well say that I can even show a message, and I can't really say who, but I asked this person, has Rocky ever laid his hands on you? Oh God, no. If anything, I hit him. Rocky has never laid his hands on a woman until he's met this girl. And the whole thing about it is how she's portraying him. I mean, yes, he had an addiction problem, but don't get me wrong, Chelsea did the drugs with him. Very well did it with him. She tried to she tried to unalive herself right after Rocky passed away. She lost her kids. They took her kids instantly. She didn't even want to get any of them back. She only wanted Trevor back. Trevor doesn't have a father. Rocky was very much, a father figure to Trevor. He was there for 4 something years. He helped take care of them. He was man of the house. He worked and did everything else. And he really, really loved this girl, but she put him through hell. And I can't say he wasn't wrong for what he did, but his life went a total 360 after meeting her. you know
How does watching her paint your brother as the abusive ex-boyfriend make you feel, like hearing her say these things?
it angers me, but more than anger me, it upsets me because she knows that he was not like that, and because he's not here to defend himself
Right.
is what really it
Right. I
really
know. I know. It's horrible. It's
he just
horrible.
wanted to be loved.
Right.
She was a lot older than him. He was born in 92. She's born, what, 83? So she's
Right.
10 years older than him,
Right.
and he was so vulnerable, and it was just everything that I see that she says now in these episodes is everything she said to him, and I just and I'm not angry like, oh, I just want Chelsea to look, she's a horrible it's not even that. It's there's other victims out there, like people, with the gentleman she's with now. He's going through sobriety. His sobriety's on the line. He's lost his mother. He's been in prison. Everything is new to him.
You watched his interview. Tell me what was
It-
going through your head when you watched his interview.
my heart went out to him because it was like watching my little brother all over again, you know? And he talks about how vulnerable they are, and it's true, but I think he's more vulnerable than anything because she's not vulnerable. She's not. She is not vulnerable. She's toxic. She's manipulative, and I feel like she uses her disability to her advantage. And you know, Michael here will be who he wants to be. He
Right.
will. But I just wanted to put it out there. Rocky said the same thing. He didn't care what anybody else said about her.
Right.
He wanted to see her for what she really was, and he did.
And
He's not here anymore.
Stephanie, being the daughter of deaf parents, how does that make you feel that she's using her disability to her advantage?
Awful, because my parents have never
My
once used
mother
their
was deaf
disability.
too. My mother was deaf too, and that makes me so angry.
My mother never even used me as an interpreter. She did everything herself.
Yeah.
She never relied on men. She never, I mean, she had her, she has a few, she has 7 kids with 3 different fathers, but
Right.
she's never used her disability to con men. I don't know whatever words to say,
Right.
and my mom is so heartbroken that she's still friends with Chelsea on Facebook and on social media because she just wants her son, you know, and the last person who really, really was with him and knew him was Chelsea, you know. I mean, it was her father hated Rocky, which is probably why he came off the way he did with Michael because of her past relationships.
Right.
Um, Rocky was under the impression that he couldn't live with her because her dad had her insurance money, and until she got her insurance money, Rocky couldn't live with her. Well, Rocky wasn't living with her. She still didn't get her insurance money. She manipulated Rocky into thinking that he was the reason and he had to stay away so she can get her money and get her house fixed. Her father still never gave her the insurance money. She took him to court in law and still didn't get her money. You know,
Yeah.
these are just little things that are just like, this is a grown ass woman here. You know, she's had her kids, you know, she's lost her kids. She never really, I mean, I'm not going to speak upon her children or any of that because it's not my place. What's known is known.
Right.
I just know her kids never really cared for her. And Rocky was always there, you know. We didn't live a good life, but Rocky was a sweetheart. He was the sweetest kid. I mean, I used to fight his battles for him growing up. You know, he was a sweetheart. He was a what is his sign? Gemini, you know, so
Yes.
he was a mama's boy, you know. So I mean, I don't know what else to explain that. I feel for this guy because watch out, you know, just please be careful. Please, you know, I know everything is not what it seems like. And I'm only speaking on facts. I'm not speaking on speculation. I wouldn't speak upon anything that I didn't think was sure, if I was sure about. But I do want to iterate that I was I do know that Chelsea was raped. I do know that it was through it was a night that they had, she got drunk, whatever happened, she was raped. I was never under the impression that she had a boyfriend that continuously raped her, as she said in one of her clips
Right.
that I came across.
Mm-hmm.
um she's lived a wild life, really wild. I mean, she's out there. And if some people don't know the difference with a the deaf world and the hearing world. In the deaf world, things that the deaf people may think is okay are things that we may in the hearing world may not think is okay. You know, and I don't want to say anything to offend any deaf people as well. I
Right.
just know because I have deaf parents, but I do know, I mean, they're more open about things. They and they're a small community, you know, and they're just not the same. And we often look at them like, you know, they have a disability, and some people feel bad, you know, and it's not, and they don't like that because they just still can't hear. That's it. Yeah, that's the only
Exactly.
difference is they
That's the
can't
only
hear,
difference. Right.
you know. And I feel like a lot of deaf people that know Chelsea might feel offended about it because people can tell that she's using that, especially if they know her. Okay, so one episode that really, the one part, because I don't watch the show, I just get clips, people send them to me, you know, and because I don't glorify over it.
Right.
uh I don't know what happened. I just know that she left Michael on the side of the road and left.
Yes. They had
That
an
was a
argument.
Chelsea. That
Yes.
was a Chelsea. That was a Chelsea trademark all day. She did it to Rocky all the time. Left him in the middle of nowhere.
Oh my
You know what I
goodness.
mean? And so that was just like boom. I instantly recognized that. And I'm sorry, but this was my perspective. When he stated to her that I'm not going to get in the car with you while you're mad,
Right.
tells me one or two things. One, she's going nuts in that car and she's driving nuts and he don't want to get in the car with her. Or two, she might be hitting him or something or doing, and he ain't getting in that car, you know, and she is like that. This girl is crazy. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that she was diagnosed with being bipolar. I mean, it's one thing to be who you are, but it's another to try to put on a front, especially on what is this, on social media, live for everybody to see. You know, you don't think you're not going to get backlash. And then I see you're often put, oh, to my haters. No, we're not haters. We're just people that know who you really are, you know. And basically being on this show, you're just putting your true self for everyone to see. Because that right there just show toxicity
Toxic
right there
behavior.
all
Right.
day,
Right.
leaving him on the side of the road, you know. Oh, she's got a lot of anger issues. And I talked to her for about up to a year after Rocky passed, you know. And it's just it's just it's just a lot of it is just portraying, you know, and being the victim, because she's not a victim. I think right now Michael's the victim. He's, like I said, he's fresh out of jail. You know, Rocky, when he overdosed, he was actually and I'll go back to this. The reason why, okay, so back in a clip before, because I'm trying to think of, this has been a year since I've been trying to talk to you, and or
Right.
actually
Right.
you've been trying to talk to me. So I go back, and in the one of the clips, it stated that, I just lost my train of thought here. um
So when Michael was left on the side of the road, that
yes,
triggered a lot of memories for you
yes,
because you see the parallel between
yes,
Michael and your brother, and Michael has to see the red flags. Okay.
yes.
So now with Chelsea, and you hear her talking about your brother. Have you tried to reach out to her and say, listen, why are you talking crap about my brother like this?
I did, but she knows better. She blocks me. She won't.
She won't
She won't.
engage. She won't engage.
She
Okay.
oh she goes to my mother. She'll
Oh,
talk to my mother. Yeah, and why my mom, that's a whole nother story. So I don't really speak with my mom too much. I'll just leave it at that.
right. Okay.
So that's, there's a lot of similarities there. I feel that my mom wants to be close you know, because of her son, but she doesn't see the bigger picture. But I I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think of back what I was thinking of when we were talking about before that triggered me.
Mm,
Um, I don't know. I
okay.
don't know. But go
It's
ahead.
okay. It's okay. It'll come back to you.
Yeah.
So when I first started researching into Chelsea and getting tips about how really toxic she was, I ran into your YouTube channel, and
Right.
you had a video up with
Yeah.
messages between Rocky and Chelsea. I want to play the video.
He wouldn't reply to me, so I would just just wanted to throw it out there,
Yeah, yeah.
.
It was during her first
Oh,
season.
really quick, not to
Go
cut
ahead.
you
Go
off.
ahead. No, no, go
I
ahead.
re- I remember now.
Go ahead.
So the reason why Rocky actually went to jail, she stated, was because of domestic violence with her.
Okay.
That's a lie.
Okay.
He was in jail because of the incident with stealing the money from the uncle. Sorry,
Oh, okay. No, no, don't
okay.
worry.
And when he got out, I don't know how I could find this. Anyways, I ain't worried about it. He got out, and that's when he got out in January. No. He got out December 30th or something. I don't know. It
Right.
was a Monday. He got out. He was released. He was actually remanded to go to a lockdown rehab facility. I forget what it's called. But for some reason, that's what they sentenced to him. But his insurance didn't accept it. Something happened, and they let him out on an ankle monitor. Well,
Okay.
he went out the ankle monitor to my mom's house. Well, for I don't know why the ankle monitor went to my mom's house, but they wouldn't allow him to stay there. Rocky burned a lot of bridges, with his addiction, which is,
Yes. Unfortunately,
um,
yes.
Right. And so this was a Monday. I'm my mom said he tried reaching out to Chelsea, I guess. I don't know what happened there. He obviously couldn't get a hold of her. So this was Monday. I didn't know he was out. Wednesday, um, something happened. I don't know, but I got a call. He was out. My brother and sister tell him, I'm in South Carolina. Everyone's in Ohio.
Right.
So, you know, he my sister tells me, oh, Rocky's out and mom won't let him stay at the house. He has nowhere to go. That's what it was. He had nowhere to go. And my brother and sister wouldn't let him stay there. Well, he never contacted me. I had a situation going on myself with my children. So, because he usually would contact me. But anyhow, then Friday, she may have mentioned this in her videos before, so I'm gonna mention it. But on the Friday, he broke into a deaf club. It's a
Okay.
deaf club. He broke into the deaf club. I don't know why. I'm assuming it was because of money, but I also think it was because of somewhere to stay, because he was found sleeping in there the following day. He broke in Thursday night, and then
Yes,
it
I
was a
remember she
Friday.
mentioned this on one of the
Yeah,
episodes.
yeah.
Yes.
And she tried to make him look bad, and that was when I was trying to talk about, yes, it was a bad thing that he did that, but when I went, they found out he passed away Saturday. I was there that Sunday from South Carolina. It was freezing, raining, snow. It was freezing, So, this deaf club, we grew up going to this deaf club. Our parents went there. Our dad used to live at the apartment upstairs, so we're affiliated with this place. So it wasn't just like a place that he decided where he was just gonna go and break in. And so he was found there. That was on Friday. I got a call that happened, and I'll say it because I say it all the time. When I got the call on Friday, it was in the afternoon. My brother-in-law called me, my sister's husband, and he says, I'm worried about your sister. Rocky broke into the deaf club, et cetera, et cetera. Well, my sister had just called me and told me he had nowhere to stay. I instantly woke up and woke my husband up, and I said, Rocky's going to die. He said he's going to die. He's going to overdose and he's going to die. And nobody found him. And the following day, I got a call at Saturday about 4 o'clock, and they found him dead. The police officers found him at the park by himself. He was there from 8 to 24 hours, they said, passed away. But what hurt me the most was that the detective I spoke with, because I instantly came down, my mom being deaf, not being able to talk to anybody. I want to know what's going on. So, and the detective said, Rocky overdosed on Wednesday at a Burger King. He saw Rocky at the hospital. Rocky overdosed, and he overdosed in front of everybody on a Wednesday, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. It was Wednesday, and the woman said he was coherent, everything was good, he was eating breakfast, he was, in his good mood, how he usually is. And he went somewhere, came back, and he literally was fumbling. She thought maybe he had a couple drinks. It was New Year's.
Right.
Smacked his face on the counter. He was actually overdosing. They Narcaned him, brought him to the hospital. The same detective that had an encounter with him there was there when they found him dead. The signs were there, everybody was there. And then instantly, Chelsea finds out about it, and she goes to try to go unalive herself and jump in the water or something. It was and then her kids got taken, and then she puts on this whole front, and she's at the funeral. I literally had to be her bodyguard at the funeral because people were wanting to kill her. Everybody wanted to kill her. My brothers, family, friends. And I knew how much Rocky cared about this girl. So I told her I would be there and for her, to go. And what hurt me the most was that, she was so hurt about the whole thing. She got his ashes. Got a tattoo with his signature on her arm. His handwriting is tattooed on her arm. And then instantly she's just looking for guys, another relationship. And bygones be bygones. And if I'm not mistaken, she had an encounter with two men the night of Rocky's funeral, with two death men. And this is a fact. These are facts, you know. And so this is Chelsea. You know what I mean? And then now her mother passed away, and I my condolences to her for that. But now she's vulnerable, and now you know what I mean? Is she vulnerable, or is she being manipulative? Because she hated her mom. They might have had a good relationship. She hated her mother. She really did. I mean, there's stories and whatever. Oh, there's other messages you might want to talk about that. Those messages might be in the messages you might want to be bringing up. So
Right, right. Let's play the
so go
video.
ahead. So
Let's play the
go
video
ahead.
so we can talk about it. So this is her talking about your brother. Yeah, she said that he cut his ankle monitor and went
He
AWOL.
was in domestic violence with her and went to jail and then cut off his ankle monitor.
He broke into a theft
Broke into
club
theft. Mm-hmm.
and stole money for drugs.
Mm-hmm. Basically, he had a sad life.
Mm-hmm. And then this is her dad yelling at her about Mikey. And these are messages between you and her after Rocky passed. And there's nothing about domestic violence.
For someone that abused somebody, I mean, you know.
Mm-hmm. I'm dying inside, Stephanie. You have no clue.
Exactly.
You know?
Rocky
Rocky.
would help me get everything done, and now I have no one to help.
Mm-hmm. Nothing is helping. Nothing will bring Rocky back. I want my best friend back where I feel whole completely. I can't do it. I'm struggling so bad. No food and bills aren't paid. I'm so behind. Corey and Aubrey's dad, it's not helping. He always finds money and helps me out with everything.
For a person so abusive. See, Rocky knew the struggle. We grew up in struggling.
Right.
He knew the struggle. Rocky was a survivor, and he knew how to make things happen or
Mm-hmm.
try.
Mm-hmm. I can't focus on anything right now. I can't snap out of it. I really miss him. He always finds me money and helps me out with everything. He always catches my back. And that's Rocky and Chelsea, right?
Yes, he loved the water, which is why when she tried to unalive herself, she fell into the water. She went to where they always went,
Mm-hmm.
as she stated.
Yep. So that doesn't sound like messages from somebody that's been abused, in my opinion. And then these are just comments from people on social media about her lying on Rocky.
Yeah, let's talk about the comment about, if you come across it, about the comment about how she treated her mother. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Oh
I
my
do.
gosh.
Yes, I do.
The woman said she's seen her.
Yeah, I
She
have
hit
it
her.
right here. I saw her
Okay.
beat her own mother at work.
Yep. Does that sound like a loving, vulnerable, who's the abuser here? Who's the victim here?
Yes.
It was sickening, the things that people were saying about her. And
Mm-hmm.
that was, and I didn't
And
intend
here's
on that.
the other one. Nah, it's wrong. She's the one who's doing drugs and pimp money.
She was prostituting. I remember Rocky. See, Rocky's a mama's boy, and he was very secretive. I remember I have a best friend that took Rocky in at a time where he had nowhere to go between him and Chelsea, and they dropped Chelsea's kids off at his house so she can go and prostitute, and they wouldn't pay my friend the money for babysitting the kids, for watching the kids. I mean, her from I've heard her own daughter said she hated her mother because she's seen her mother bring men back in and out of the house. You know, doesn't sound like somebody. I mean, hey, people change. I'll tell you that.
Right.
People do change. But I mean, you ever heard of narcissism? I know it's a new thing now. And once she has a lot of signs of narcissism, and those people don't change. And she's 40 years old,
Right.
and instead of focusing on her kids, she was worried about pen paling somebody that was in prison. No offense to Michael, to somebody who wanted to talk to somebody.
Right. And Stephanie, you're not the only one that's speaking out against her. I mean, just to let you know and just to let the viewers know, Stephanie is not my only source. There are multiple
No, I am not.
sources that are,
Yep,
speaking
yep,
along the same lines and
yep,
it's pretty much the same things about Chelsea, so
yes.
Stephanie's
And
the one
I
that's
don't blame
speaking
people.
out.
People don't want publicity. People don't want to be bashed. And same as me, I have a huge social media account. I mean, not huge, but I've got over 17,000 followers on Facebook. I have no negativity whatsoever on my page. I don't
Right,
look for it. I'm not that kind of person. I have trauma. I do have issues. I have past issues, all of that stuff. I don't look for that. But when it comes to speaking the truth, and when it comes to especially my siblings or my kids, and I looked at Rocky like he was my child, losing Rocky was like losing my child.
right,
I grew up having to help take care of my brothers.
right,
My parents split up. So when we went to my dad's on the weekend, I took care of it was me, Rocky, and a younger brother, Joshua. I took care of them. It was my mom's house and my dad's house. So I would kill for him. And the only reason why nobody ever put their hands on Chelsea out of me and my sister, because there's 7 of us, there's only 2 girls, which is me and my sister, is because of Rocky. Because
right,
he had begged us not to interact with her, not to you know, to confront
right,
her or
right.
anything, and because of him, we hadn't. But you're not gonna speak bad about somebody that can't even defend themselves, not on broad social, you know what I mean, on
Exactly.
live.
National TV.
That's what yeah, that's
Right,
the word I was looking for.
right,
National television.
right.
And if anybody wants to say anything negative, I don't care, because you know why? I was there. I was there. We were there.
And this is your
I feel
truth.
it.
Right,
Exactly. And people need to hear this, because I hate the speculations. I hate going back and forth on comments and stuff. Well, how do you know this? And well, this is how I know. Okay. You guys are just people that just knew her because of the show, probably sticking up for her because of her disability, whatever the case is, this is the truth.
Right.
I am not a hater. More power to her with the show and whatever she's got going on. But when you brought my brother up and you want to state, we're going to state facts. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's
Right.
it. And I've been waiting a while to get this out, and she won't listen to me, and she doesn't. I don't need her to listen to me. I want her to hear me out. But this is me speaking out. You don't talk about the dead, and you don't lie on the dead. You know what I mean? And you have kids. You're a mother. I have 4 kids myself. I wasn't the best mother. I grew up with childhood trauma, and I've been fighting years for my mental health. I have a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, 4 and 5-year-old. They're all in school. I mean, doing the best that we can, but they're all excelling. You know, um, that's why I live where I live. I've kind of moved away from everything.
Right.
And Rocky was one of the things that I kind of left behind. He did try to live with me for a few months. I had my own stuff going on, and so it didn't really, work out, but things happen and it is what it is. But this is the truth. And if anybody was to talk about my brother, I want him to speak the truth about him. It's not fair that people can't defend themselves, because I know as a child growing up, I was never able to defend myself,
Right.
and I was
Right.
there.
Right.
So, it is what it is. I just don't understand why she can't admit why I mean, and not even just Rocky, she's had prior relationships with loving people that couldn't take it with her. I've even been engaged in conversation with a few of them. It was like, she's crazy, whatever, whatever, you
Right.
know, but why can't you give, I don't even care about that, but why can't you give the man some gratitude for, that you did have, and why can't, oh yes, you were upset and emotional because he overdosed, but don't say that he was abusive so you can be manipulative. No, use it the right way and say you're a victim because are not a victim because of abuse, but you lost the love of your life. You lost
Right.
somebody you really cared for.
Due
And
to
I don't
drug
know.
addiction. Due to drug addiction.
Exactly.
You say that. Don't say
Exactly.
right.
Don't lie about stuff that she has, things she could talk about that has affected her life.
Right.
True. Talk
Right.
about it.
Right.
Don't tell lies for what? Publicity? I mean, it just,
Pity. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
pity. Yes, pity. Yes.
Right.
That's a big one, but nah, you know, she's the abuser. If I say anything, she's the abuser. And it is what it is, but I'm glad we were able to talk about it and
Yes. Before I
just
let
bring
you
it to
go,
reality. Yeah, go ahead.
if you have a message from Mike, what would you tell him?
Michael, I know you don't know me and I don't know you. Um, and this is, has nothing to do with my brother and Chelsea. I just want to tell you, as somebody who is going through sobriety, um, I have some, I'm also going through sobriety myself. And from experience, just remember you can't love somebody else unless you love yourself. Make sure you take care of yourself first. Look out for the signs. Take it easy and take it slow. But just remember, look out for yourself before you look out for anybody else. And that's all I can really say. That's all I can really say. And best luck to you.
Yeah.
I heard he's got another show he's doing,
Yes. Yes.
and so
I think
I
he's a great
congratulate
guy.
him.
I really like him. I
Yeah,
really, yeah,
me
he's a
too.
great
Just from
guy.
watching,
Yeah.
he is, and he's got a lot of momentum,
Yep.
and he seems he's doing good in sobriety. He looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let a woman pull you down. Just don't
Exactly.
let anybody pull you down.
Don't let anybody
Period.
pull you down. Period.
Yes.
Period. Thank you so much for joining me,
Thank you.
Stephanie.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for getting your story out.
You said what now?
Thank you for getting your story out. Thank you for telling
Yes,
your
and thank you
truth.
for allowing me to. Thank
Of
you.
course, of
I
course, of
appreciate
course,
it.
of
I
course.
know at first I was like, what did she say about my brother? What? And I'm
This,
like, he's got his his mugshot on there. I'm like, hold up, hold up. Typical mother sister, you know,
yes. But now we're
instinct.
friends now, and everything is all worked out, and you got your truth out, and everybody will
I
know the type of
appreciate
guy
you.
that Rocky really was.
Yes. And we still communicate any questions you ever
Yes,
have or
you got
anything
it. You got
here.
it.
So
You got it. Okay. Thank you
thank you
so
so
much.
much.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right. You have a good
Okay.
night.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.